Welcome back to another episode of the Dropback podcast. I am Bradley, as always, joined by my co-host Zane. And if you missed last episode, go give that a listen if you haven't already. But how are you doing today, Zane?
Man, I'm doing great. All right, we're doing something new this week. We announced last week. We are doing fixture franchise. We're gonna do these from teams 1 through 10. So we're starting with the Titans and then moving our way back. So I'm excited because these, like, when I was doing research, I'm like, man, this is gonna be fun because there's so much we can talk about with this. And yeah, I'm excited. How about you?
Yeah, we've never done this before, so I'm excited to kind of rebuild a team, basically
Yeah.
fix their franchise. Yeah, no, I'm excited for it though.
Mm-hmm.
There was some news. We're doing the Titans today. There was already some news about them. They hired the
Yeah.
Chiefs assistant GM
Yeah.
Mike Borgen. I don't even know.
Yeah. He's like the top hire. So I mean, it made sense. That was
That
actually
was a
something I was
good.
gonna include in the video, and then they hired him, and I'm like, well. Doesn't matter now. So, but
Yeah.
that was definitely the guy I would have gone with. It was a good solution. I don't think they
Yeah.
should have fired Rand Carthon, but that's fine.
I mean, yeah. If you're gonna get a guy who knows to win, how to win, and he's been in a winning environment, I understand. But if you're gonna pick up some random guy, then it would have been okay.
Yeah, like yeah. First thing on the Titans, they currently have 49 million in cap space, and um, let's see, 49 million in cap space, which is eighth in the league, and I think in draft capital. Let me look it up.
They're definitely up there because they have a good
Overall
amount of
draft
picks.
capital. Obviously, they have the first overall pick. Let me. Oh, Tankathon. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
Tankathon usually has it pulled up. Let's see.
One, one,
Um,
two, three, four,
they're
five.
ranked fourth in overall draft power rankings for just draft capital. So they're doing pretty well for this offseason. Obviously, they don't have the most money in free agency, but they're doing well.
Yeah.
First question I want to ask you is: do you think Brian Callahan's the solution, or
No.
do you think he's part of the problem?
Um. Okay, so you bring in a new GM, right? I would
Yeah,
fire your offensive coordinator and the head coach here. Defensive coordinator, I would
he did
keep
great.
him.
Yeah,
Denard Wilson, he's from the Ravens. He had a great defense last year, a top 10 defense this year, and honestly, I would keep him because he did his job.
yeah.
And the reason you bring in Brian Callahan is fix the offense. In this
It
first
was
year,
it was to develop Levis, and that didn't happen
yeah,
at
it
all.
was awful. This was horrible. Anytime you turned on a Titans game, you would see two things: a sack and a pick six.
You'd always,
And
yes, you'd see the right tackle get drilled into a sack for a forced fumble, which always got blamed on Levis, even though the right tackle was a revolving door.
yeah, and I would just honestly get rid of those two guys because there's a good amount of head coaches out there
Yeah.
that could really change this franchise around.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go back to the past, but I would have never gotten rid of Mike Frabel.
Mm-mm. Thank
Um,
you, by the way, as a
yeah,
Patriots fan. I really appreciate it. Like, this is great now,
the
but
Patriots got
that was
their
tough.
guy, but
Um,
I
he's gonna
just
get
don't
fired.
think.
That's my early prediction is he will get fired this next season after this next season if they don't make the playoffs because Amy is too impatient.
Yeah, Brian Callahan. I mean, I wouldn't even give him another year. I know you should always give the head coach more than 1 year, but
Yeah,
this was
I
awful.
it was awful. Honestly, it was just as bad, if not worse, than Gerard Mayo, and Mayo got fired.
Yeah,
But Mayo got fired because the Patriots knew they were going to get Vrabel. So that was the only reason they did it. So if there's a guy that you can get like Vrabel this offseason, do it. I mean, this next offseason, not this one, which we're focusing on this one. So
and
I just wanted to
another
ask you if you thought he was the solution because Levis didn't develop, and that's the reason he came in.
and another reason to fire your offensive coordinator. Ridley was upset about the play calling
Oh,
because
yeah.
they were like, "Oh yeah, they didn't start throwing the ball until we were down 17," and it's like, well,
Right.
yeah,
because you didn't trust your quarterback, but that's on you for. Okay, I will say this: the only thing I didn't like about Ryan Carthon this past offseason was not bringing in a distinguished veteran who could teach Levis. That was their biggest mistake and their only real mistake from the past offseason. But that wasn't big enough to like fire him.
Yeah.
So I mean, you did. You brought in who's going to probably be a great GM, and you have the first overall pick, so you're probably moving on from Levis. Um, Probably trading him, honestly. I could see that trade happening at some point during the offseason.
You wouldn't get, what would you even get? Like a
Like a
sixth,
I
fifth,
fourth.
May fourth? Yikes, dude. I don't know.
It's a fourth round pick for a second or third year QB who
I mean,
had promising moments. It was a big
yeah,
arm. It just needs coaching. It's
this
like,
year it was
what did
bad.
Willis go for?
Willis went for third or fourth, I think. Or I'm just making that up, and he went for like a sixth.
He probably did go for sixth.
Because, yeah. Um, but yeah, you have to get rid of Will Levis this offseason. And the biggest thing I would focus on is the offense.
Oh, seventh round pick. Yeah.
Okay, seventh. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, he didn't go for much, but he also was drafted later than Levis. But yeah, okay, I'd say a fifth then.
Yeah.
You need the draft capital though. So team needs. Do we want to go through those first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Quarterback, obviously, because you're first overall pick, you're probably picking a quarterback here. Probably not 100%. We're gonna have two ways of discussing that. So you got quarterback. I said right guard and right tackle. The right side of the line was just horrendous this past season.
It was awful.
Edge rusher, wide receiver, linebacker, tight end, and kicker. But who cares?
Tight end? Dude, give my
Give Chig a
boy
chance.
Chig. Dude, Chig is
Give him a
such a
chance.
good talent.
He is, and like it's not like a major need, but it was like you could probably use an upgrade, but at the same time, I'm not gonna go out of my way to get one right now.
Yeah. I wouldn't. That would be one
It,
of my least concerns. I would get
it was
another
last on the
corner.
board.
I would get another corner back there to help him.
Yeah, I mean
Because
Sneed fell off this year.
yeah, I mean depth at corner could always be good.
Here, I'll screen share so we can look at the roster. There we go. All right, let's pull up the roster. Oh, wrong thing. Let's see.
Here, go to lineup. It'll have a better
Oh,
view
my
of it.
fault. Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, Awuzie, like Sneed ranked awful this year. He was hurt all year, and then Awuzie has been solid. You definitely could use another corner, but it's not like huge need.
yeah, their thing was they drafted decently last
They
year,
actually
pretty
did.
well. Getting Sweat was a big upgrade. He played really well this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, besides Jeffrey Simmons.
I mean, both of them are great. Like you look at their defense, bright spots would be Gibbons, Simmons, Sweat, Diggs. Those are their three like
Yeah,
guys ranked at least in the top 20 or at least have a great overall grade for the year. Offense has nobody ranked in the top. I don't even know top 40. Okay, Pollard is ranked in the top 40 and Ridley, but that's it. Yeah, that's rough. Um,
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even really focus on defense this year because defense is fine. It had its good moments, but you can't really have a great defense whenever your offense gives up the ball so
yeah,
much.
it was both quarterbacks too. That's the thing. Like no matter who, and it was just like, is this a coaching problem? Like obviously, it probably is a little bit of a coaching problem. It was probably a little bit of a QB problem as well. But like, this is the guy you drafted Levis to be your guy, and you brought in Callahan to develop him, and you brought in Ridley and all these other pieces to help him, and it didn't work out like at all. He was a second round pick, so like the losses aren't as bad. It's actually interesting they have a lot more passing snaps than running snaps from this past year, considering Ridley's complaining. Um, yeah, no, he was so much he was like not so much better last year, but he was better last year, and then he like fell down this year, and it felt like definitely coaching didn't do him any favors because the team got better. The team definitely got better. Like I think if this was a Vrabel led team, it wouldn't have gotten this bad.
Yeah, it's definitely Brian Callahan is in fault for a
Yeah,
bit of it,
like partial.
and
He's at least in partial fault.
Nick Holtz is too. Their
Mm-hmm.
OC is there was some terrible play calling. You can't just have Ridley run go routes the whole game,
99% of the time.
and then Tyler Boyd. Where did he disappear to?
99th, apparently. Okay, this is a little low for Nick Westbrook Akine, but yeah, this
Yeah,
was bad.
yeah,
Then you have Traylon Burks, who's not even on the field anymore. Okay, I need to
yeah.
look at the
Traylon
offense.
Burks. Titan fans are not happy about that
No,
decision.
that was the worst. Um, yeah, this is
Um,
not helpful. What is it doing? I just want to look at starters.
yeah. So my question for you is, what do you
Mhm.
do at the quarterback situation? Because you
Okay,
have
all
two
right.
options here. You can draft a guy, or you can sign a guy. And the quarterback class,
Mm,
on the draft and free agency isn't the greatest.
no, it's one of the worst years to do
Uh,
this, unfortunately.
so my thing, hear me out. You trade the first round pick, trade for
Hmm.
the Raiders, trade
Hmm.
back. You sign Justin Fields,
I like it.
or yeah, try to trade or sign Justin Fields. Sorry, I glitched out for a minute, and draft an offensive lineman.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm definitely on
Um,
the right side.
yeah, get your right tackle fixed or right guard even. One of the both actually. Maybe okay, maybe an edge rusher if somehow Carter falls. He's not going to fall that far though. I'd even be
And
willing to trade back like just like two or three spots with the Giants, just get a third or a second out of it, and then
yeah,
just draft Carter.
and you can either uh, sign sign a quarterback in free agency and then draft one in
Mhm.
the third or fourth, second round area
Yeah,
because there will still be guys on the board there.
yeah. Like at that point, just draft Dart.
Yeah, I mean,
Not even
yeah,
a bad
just
option.
Cornairs, draft one of those.
Yeah,
Milrow, I don't know if Milrow will be that far.
he might fall. He'll fall to the second. He should fall to the second. He won't, but he should.
Yeah,
For me, I kind of agree. I like the Fields route. I also just like the Cam Ward route. Obviously, if y'all been watching the channel, y'all know I like Cam Ward. I did my video on him a couple weeks ago. If y'all want to check that out, I like Cam Ward. He's probably the only guy I'd take top 10 as a quarterback. Obviously, two are going to go, but I'd take him at one and be okay with it, and then just draft an edge in round two or right tackle in round two. Like you said, focus on the offense. Your defense needs help, sure, but you got to focus on your young QB, whoever that may be this next year.
yeah, and
Now, I
and
want to throw out a sleeper option. You sign Sam Darnold.
no.
I don't like it.
You saw
I'm
him
not
under
a.
pressure though.
Oh,
Like
I
he'll
know,
be
I
under
know.
pressure plenty this year if they sign him, and
Yeah,
you don't
so
want Sam Darnold under
no.
pressure.
I just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah, I
Just a
mean,
quick thought.
I wouldn't even try to draft a wide receiver. Obviously, in the later rounds, yeah, I go ahead. But in the first two rounds, focus on offensive line, quarterback, um, get those two positions filled,
Yeah.
and then you know you can draft Torrey Horton or someone like that in the
Mhm.
later rounds. Um,
Just get like a
Bolton.
solid wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you go the Travis Hunter route though
No,
for the
absolutely not. Not
Titans?
with this team. Not with this team. This is like the one team that I would not especially be drafting. Like if you're like the Giants or the Browns, yeah, go for it. I mean, like, yeah, but no, not
I
Titans. Especially
I
not at one. If you draft him at one, I'm seriously already questioning the new GM in the building.
I don't see an upside for this offense unless they get rid of their offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Which you look at this roster, I do want to explore this a little bit and look how like not filled it is. And like I do want to talk about John Robinson a little bit because for the first couple of years he was great, and then you look at the past three drafts, he drafted Isaiah Wilson, Caleb Farley, and Traylon Burks. And then the past couple of years he was bad in free agency, which is the reason for a couple of these guys on the defense, like Landry, people are talking about getting rid of him. I don't really understand that one that much.
Yeah, I
Um,
think Landry is a good player, so I
yeah,
don't.
I do too. Which I don't really understand that one as much. I don't watch Titans games as often. I've watched a little. I've watched a lot more doing this, but not as much as Titans fans themselves. But like he really kind of destroyed where this roster is. It's like the Patriots past couple of years with Belichick. He doesn't know how to draft, and so crap just went to crap.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. And then Rand Carthon, obviously, we mentioned he shouldn't be fired. I said the biggest. My joke was that the biggest mistake he made was trading Willis, um, just because he looked solid against them. And then he literally was promoted this past year, and then they fired him right after.
yeah.
So
Um,
stupid. Amy's the problem, guys. Like, if you want to blame anybody, you can't blame GMs. You need to blame Amy. Selling
yeah,
team.
and I think why Willis worked out in Green Bay when he was the starter was the play calling. Play calling is a
Yeah,
significant will change the offense and defense in so many ways
100%. I
because
agree.
they knew how to use Willis and Nick Holtz just didn't look like he knew how to use this offense.
Mm-mm.
He relied on the run game way too often.
And
He
Pollard's
would,
not. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Pollard did what he. I mean, Pollard had a good
Pollard did what
season.
he could. He did have a good season, but I think I mentioned this to you. Why even let Derek go if you're going to pay him the same money? It helps
I
the
mean,
young. I can understand letting him go win, but at the same time, you didn't even offer him a contract. I
I
don't
mean,
know. You.
I think the Titans should have started this rebuild 2 years ago.
Oh, I
After
agree. Shit.
you should have traded Henry, you should have got something for Henry,
Yeah.
and I mean, even you could have even traded Brian Tannehill. He could have
Yeah.
went somewhere. He could have gotten that like Sam Darnold treatment. Um,
Mhm.
and it's just like you just didn't, and
Yeah.
you lost all these players for absolutely nothing.
Right.
And
Which
even for AJ Brown, you lost them for absolutely nothing.
that was John Robinson's nail in the coffin for sure. Was the firing or not the firing, the trading of AJ Brown for Traylon Burks, who didn't do anything, and then AJ Brown came in that season and absolutely mopped y'all, which just oh man,
Yeah.
shouldn't
Um,
have happened. Shouldn't have happened.
yeah.
I do want to bring up Vrabel again. I don't think so. We talked about him not being fired, but you look at last year; they went 6-11 with a worse roster, and then now they're 3-14. And the only issue I ever saw with Vrabel is past Arthur Smith, who at the time was a good OC because of the system they could run with Derrick Henry. Um, that he couldn't find another good offensive coordinator, and that was like his biggest like tick on him was he couldn't get one. That's why I think Callahan's part of the problem because they went 3-14 with a better roster than Vrabel had last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I was the GM right now, I mean, fire OC, head coach,
Mm-hmm.
bring in better guys. There are plenty of guys out there. Um, I mean, now you really can't because all these teams are interviewing guys. So it's
Yeah,
like,
you're late on the cycle, so you got to wait another year now. You're basically stuck. And if you don't like him again, well, you're stuck at least for the year.
I
So
mean, you
that
can
sucks.
fire Brian Callahan, but who would? I mean, you could get like Brian Flores, but he's more of a defensive minded coach. You would want like an offensive minded coach.
You'd want like a solid offensive mind. You're not going to get Ben Johnson. That sucks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no. Um, how do you think we fix this roster though? What we mentioned the needs, but moving on to like the free agency side, if we would just pull up their free agents, um,
Yeah.
who do you think they should re-sign?
Uh, I would resign Nick Westbrook.
I agree.
I'd resign Joseph Baker, Diggs,
Yeah.
Boyd.
Uh, boy, it's just extra money.
I mean, but you can get him on a cheap contract.
I mean, you probably can,
Have a. I
but it's
mean,
whether he wants to come back is the other question.
yeah, but like, who else are you gonna go get?
Hold on. Their long
Uh,
snapper's 38.
yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay, all right. Um,
dude, with those positions, you can play till you're 55. Like
you're
Nick
right.
Folk, he's been in the league for 4 decades.
I know. Well, that's why I said kicker. He's done. I would not bring him back.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no, I think Baker, Joseph Day, Diggs, and Westbrook Akine are the four that I would be like, I'd bring them back. And then the rest, I'd be cutting ties.
I'd bring back Boyd because
I can
you
understand
can
that.
go get T Higgins, or you can go
Hmm.
and try and get T Higgins, but eh, um,
You're not going
you
to get
can't,
T. Higgins right now. Not with your
and,
money. Not with the needs.
and you can't really get anyone else.
Mm-mm. I mean, hold on. I mean, you pull up the wide receivers. There's guys
Diggs,
at depth.
he wants to win. T Higgins,
He
maybe because
wants
he's from
money.
Tennessee.
He's going to
Keenan
get.
Allen, don't
Let's
even
look at the market
try.
value.
Mari Cooper, no.
You're not touching Higgins on 25 million.
Yeah,
No. Keenan Allen, no. Amari Cooper. Keenan Allen said LA or Chicago. That's it. Amari Cooper, probably no. He's going to want to win.
Chris
Godwin,
Godwin,
no.
Bucks. Brandon Cooks, no. Deontay
No.
Johnson, locker room
Sucks.
cancer.
Yeah.
DeAndre
Hopkins,
Hopkins
he's not going to come
tried.
back.
Mike Williams, he's good. You can try and get
He's
him.
good. I don't know about that.
Good.
But
I mean, okay. The Steelers did not use him that often, but he
I like
did. When they did use him, he actually was good.
I mean, yeah, I'd offer him a contract, but this is more like you got to draft a wide receiver this year.
I would bring in an older guy. I would
I mean, I
bring
would
in,
too, but you have two older guys in the building. That's the thing.
but I mean, you have to get if you're drafting a quarterback, you got to bring in wide receiver help. That is the
True,
most
true.
important thing about bringing in a young quarterback. Wide receiver help, and it's not looking good for the Titans.
Which you have Ridley, and like he's like a, in my opinion, at his best, he's a low end wide receiver one. I think he works better as like a top number two, but you're not unfortunately gonna be able to solve that right now.
You can throw him in
Um,
the slot, Ridley, and then bring in
true,
yeah
true,
someone.
yeah. So okay, so like we talked about edge rush. Just want to explore that a little bit. If you're not gonna draft somebody, who do you bring in? Maybe a Chase Young or a Josh Sweat.
Chase
They're both
Young,
gonna go for yeah, Chase Young. I'd say then you take the
Josh
flyer.
Sweat is really good. I would try to go get him.
I'd
Um,
say one of these two. You're gonna want a little bit younger, just enough to be able to be good for the team.
Chase Young is 25. Wow,
Yeah,
dude.
he's gonna be 26 next year, and that's just still so young and has so many more years left. Like he'd be a guy I'd be like, oh yeah, here's our 3 year deal for you. Decent money, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that'd be if you're not gonna go with Abdul Carter first round and you're getting your QB in round one. I'd be going for Chase Young.
yeah.
Um, right tackle. That's I feel like no pun intended. That's the need you need to tackle most. That was a really bad joke. I realize. I'm sorry, guys. I'm proud of it though. Who do you even get? Because this is just gross. Like I don't know how
Yeah,
else
this
to
is
put it.
bad. This is bad. Yeah.
Um, Mekhi Becton, and you just hope that your O line coach can fix him
I mean,
after he sat a year with the Eagles.
guys who sit with the Eagles are good. Like
True.
their offense, I would bring in if he's an Eagle offensive lineman. I'm bringing him in.
Yeah, which Mekhi Becton, you remember he was with the Jets and he was awful.
Yeah, but he's had a year to
Right.
sit behind
True.
their right tackle. Was it the game? No, no. Who had the right tackle problem because he got injured? It was the Packers. I knew it was one
I
of
think it
those
was the
two.
Packers or it was the Vikings left tackle got hurt.
Yeah. Um,
I don't
I
know. I
would.
think Becton's probably your best bet, unfortunately. So you take the flyer on Mekhi Becton,
Yeah,
which
I
then
would do
they're
it.
they're still both young, right? Like you're getting young guys, so it's not
Yeah,
like the worst thing in the world. Like you get Mekhi Becton in, and you might solve your problem. He's at least better than Duncan,
he was awful.
who I think was a like fifth round pick or something like that. Hold on, I actually have it up. Already awesome. He was like a sixth round pick in 2023. It's like, are you really going to trust that the most? I'd rather bring in
Yeah.
Becton. Like, definitely those two are like flyers I'd have.
Hey,
Yeah.
I just thought of this at quarterback.
All
Bring
right.
back Marcus Mariota
Oh my. At least as your veteran
for
backup,
for
I'd be
for
fine.
yeah, and then you can draft. You could go like the Vikings route.
Mm-hmm.
Draft, bring back Mariota, draft Cam Ward,
All right.
and then have a QB battle,
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
or use them like they did in Washington.
That'd be fine too.
But I know Marcus Mariota and Jaden Daniels have a close relationship. So
He's probably not going anywhere. And then,
yeah,
like, obviously, you got to fill your right guard too. Oh man, dog, this is rough. I'm sorry, Titans fans. Like, I do think this team can turn around and not be like worst of first, but like they can at least be like worst to like second best if they
there are
get
two
the right
Steelers
guys.
up there that are good.
Yeah. Um,
You
there's a
could
couple guys. Tevin Jenkins would be a solid pickup.
James Daniel,
Dave, I
and
like that. Nate Herbig, right? Steelers guy,
yeah,
like you
he's
just
good.
mentioned. Dalton Reisner. Like this is fixable, and like you're not going to be paying these guys top dollar either. Obviously, it's free agency. You're always going to overpay. That's the rules. You're just raising the floor of your team. That's what free agency is for. So you're just raising the floor of your awful offensive line, which I think is ranked second to last, if not last,
Yeah,
in the NFL right now. And like obviously you have your two young guys on the left side, and they're both good. And then you have your center who you just paid. He was hurt all year. This isn't actually him. Their center was hurt all year, and then you just got to fix the right side. Um, did you have key pieces? Like, do you feel like the only guys that are definitely like, yeah, we need them on this roster right now for this next year? Like,
um,
you have guys that are under big contract or are doing well.
like on the team already.
Yeah,
Um,
like offense wise, did you have anybody besides like maybe Ridley because he's on the big contract?
Ridley,
Yeah, that's
Spears, Pollard.
I
That
like it.
running back 1 and 2, I think, is solid. It'll
I
help a
agree.
young quarterback if you go the quarterback route.
Yeah.
I feel like you should try to keep Boyd too. Boyd,
Well,
Westbrook,
like
Keenan.
not like they're like not key players. Westbrook or Keenan, I could argue putting under, but like Boyd is like key players isn't like they must be on this team next year for us to succeed. There's no way they're leaving our roster no matter what. Um, so like
Oh,
example,
well,
Peter
like,
Skronsky. You just drafted him first round last 2 years ago.
yeah, you definitely keep those two young guys.
Mhm.
Latham did have his struggles this year,
Yeah, but
but
it wasn't all because of him.
yeah,
Like you looked at it, he did solid in pass blocking, but then run blocking was more the
he
issue.
was my RB too. So
RB2,
or whoa,
that's
offensive
crazy.
lineman too.
I know you were big on him, which is why I was shocked you didn't just say him right away for your like key player.
Yeah, I mean, these rookies, like you're keeping these rookies. So like in
Yeah,
these year one, year two. So like I don't expect them to move on from them.
you don't, but it happens unfortunately.
Yeah. Um.
Defense, I'd say Simmons, Sweat, Snead because he's on the big contract. Um, yeah, that's kind of it for me at
Yeah.
least. Maybe you could argue Gibbons because how he played this year. Some people say Landry. I don't know. Um, yeah, you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like
I like
keys.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, hold on, because we didn't finish our needs. I guess kind of just popped around a little bit on y'all. Sorry. Get back to the needs. So okay, we've discussed QB, we've discussed right tackle, we've discussed right guard, edge, wide receiver. What about linebacker? What do you think for linebacker?
Um.
Keep in mind you're not going to get top dollar guys either.
I mean, I don't mind bringing in a linebacker, but I feel like their linebackers are fine this year.
I mean, I think Gibbons was great. I think Murray was bad. I mean, obviously you can see it,
Yeah.
but look,
But I
maybe
mean,
nickel formation. Yeah, Murray was not good.
yeah, but you can't go into this offseason getting every need because
True, I agree with that.
you just simply can't. So like linebacker, I feel like is one of the least concerns
Yeah,
because you got to focus on offense so heavily. And
yeah.
we've been talking mostly about the offense.
So you got to
Um,
focus on those, especially because you only have $50 million, which sounds so dumb to say. Only 50 million,
yeah.
but you have so many needs. So yeah, I agree with you.
That like okay, you got to go into it like this. Okay, our offense was tremendously bad this offseason, this
Yeah.
past year. Our defense was top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think if this offense gets a little bit better,
You'll be
this
fine.
defense could be a lot better than it shows. So,
Yeah, I agree with that. And like, yeah, I mean, I wrote down like a couple guys, like maybe I say Simmons, but just like younger guys that aren't going to be like top tier contracts, like I did with Chase and
yeah, with
Becton.
linebacker, I would draft a guy because
Yeah, I agree with that.
oh no, don't pull up tight end.
I did because I want to just throw out somebody for you. If where is he? Hear
Oh,
me out. What if
Mike
they
is
bring in
a
Juwan Johnson?
Chig.
You'd rather have Chig?
I'd rather have Chig.
All right. I just wanted to throw it out there. That was like my little
Chig
like,
Chig is my guy. Like I've liked him for so long. Since he's
yeah.
been on the Titans, I've really liked Chig. So
I have to. I always draft him and then I get burned. Oops.
yeah, maybe not in fantasy aspect, but like
Oh, see, I like him because fantasy. I felt like he was always going to be that guy. And then it's like Kyle Pitts for me, except I get him always in like round like 15.
yeah, I always draft Kyle Pitts.
I don't do that with Pitts. I meant like with Chig, but yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm
he's
probably
my
not
version.
gonna draft Pitts. Me saying that, I'm definitely gonna draft
You're
Pitts.
100% going to draft Pitts.
But um, yeah, you want to do our mock draft now for the
Yeah,
Titans?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Sorry, I'm gonna pull up notes and like, yeah. All right, so we're gonna do the Titans. We're gonna do two of these actually, guys. One of them with a trade, one of them not.
We're not going to do this with every team because
No.
not every team's going to trade. Like the Browns, Giants,
Yeah.
Patriots might, Jags probably won't.
No, like I think the only trades we might see are like the Raiders, maybe the Titans, maybe the
Patriots.
Jets or the Saints or yeah, like weird ones like that. Maybe a trade up for a wide receiver always happens.
Yeah.
Everything's good outside of that. Yeah. 7 rounds. Yeah. All right. First mock draft. Okay. So do you want to do this one as our trade?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
All right. So I think we kind of discussed. Did you say Raiders for the
Yeah.
trade?
So I traded. So I did like my own little mock draft.
Yeah.
So I traded the Raiders, first round, Myers, their second, and next year's first for the Titans' first overall pick because I kind of thought of the Bears pick and I was like, okay,
Like this?
yeah, no, not next year's first or second, but I mean, you can trade next year's second.
I'm gonna add Myers to it. And then like something like this, because this was basically the trade.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like that. And then boom, you deal with
they
wide
get Shador.
receiver. Yeah, they get whatever quarterback they want. It's not gonna pick a quarterback, it's gonna be weird and dumb. If quarterback's still on
Travis
the
Hunter.
board, yeah, watch. Yeah, Cam Ward went. There you go. Abdul Carter went. Shador Sanders. Okay, it went like how it was supposed to for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then we're here at 6, and obviously Carter's off the board. So, are you thinking offensive line?
So I kind of went with like a weird one here.
All right, I'm
I
listening.
went with the Texans offensive lineman Kelvin Banks
Oh, no, I love that. Yeah,
because Titans have drafted a guy with short arms, and I've talked to a few Titans fans, and they do not want a guy with short arms. Will Campbell has short
I know
arms,
who you're talking about. So, yeah,
so I'm gonna draft Kelvin Banks. He's been really good this year, being a really
yeah.
good offensive lineman for the Texans.
As you all can see, he's got great run blocking, great pass blocking, great zone, great gap. Like
So
he's the perfect guy for them.
yeah, I say draft
Mhm.
him, and then here I would maybe go for quarterback.
Quarterback. I don't
Quarterback.
hate it. Okay, so let's say in this scenario, who do they bring in as their free agent QB? Because you're going to bring in a veteran presence.
Okay, I before we started this episode, I read something that like Justin Fields wants to stay in like a system he already knows. So let's say Justin Fields
Doesn't
stays with the
happen.
Steelers.
Yeah.
You don't think it happens?
I think it happens. I'm saying, like, let's say it does happen. Do you bring in,
Oh,
like,
okay.
Jacoby Brissett or Taylor
No.
Heineke?
You've seen Brissett behind a bad offensive line.
I know. I dealt with it all year.
I would Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. See,
Trey
no.
Lance.
But I like it. But at the same time, you need a vet. This is the same thing as Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Right? You need a true vet.
Yeah, I mean,
You're going to need a
do,
guy who can start the year and teach. So, like,
do you sign
good is
two
Andy.
quarterbacks?
I no, I'd almost bring in Joe Flacco or Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton or Jacoby Brissett or Taylor Heineke.
I mean, yeah,
Carson
Jameis
Wentz.
Winston is getting passed around. So,
Yeah. I think you bring in a vet, but just who?
um,
Wentz?
Joe Flacco,
I like Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco would be
Jameis
good.
Winston. I like those guys that you don't know what they're going to do with the ball. Like
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, he's not scared to air it out after he just threw 3 picks. Jameis
No.
Winston, he's
Same
not
thing.
scared. So I think you need a guy like that, especially in this offense, to
Mhm.
be like, oh, well, I just threw 4 picks, but I'm still airing it out. So,
They haven't fixed their board yet.
okay, so you have Dylan Gabriel. No, I'm not a big
Okay, they
fan of
didn't
Dylan
fix their board
Gabriel.
yet. So
Oh,
starts down here. To me, it's Dart or Ewers, and I like Dart more.
I don't know. I like Milrow.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No way you do.
Yes, I do.
Dog.
I told you. I told you. Someone doesn't even watch our own videos.
Yeah, you do. I remember you did a video for Miller.
Yeah, I like his upside. Milrow
But like
passing,
Miller passing though, that's the issue. They need somebody who can pass.
but you have Bill Callahan. He can, or Brian Callahan. He can
But you also do
fix
have
him.
Bill Callahan.
He can be fixed.
No, but you need somebody who can pass. Bill Callahan likes a guy like Burrow. He wants a QB like Burrow. He's not gonna want a
Yeah,
QB like uh, Fields.
yeah. I'm probably gonna take me
I do.
personally. I don't know.
I'm gonna pick Dart here because I think this is a Dart
Yeah,
pick.
fair. That's a fair pick. Yeah.
It's gonna grade this watch. Hold on. Let's look at our picks. No, it doesn't grade them yet. It's gonna grade our draft like an F because of this pick. But the only issue with this that I have, like going this route, is it's the same as the Levis route. You just have a better roster, and so you're risking the same stuff.
Yeah. Which,
Um,
if the Titans do draft a quarterback first round, then it does make it like, drafting
yeah,
quarterback top 5, top 10 does put your job on the line.
on the line,
Which
you're
Brian
definitely risking it a little more.
Callahan's job already on the line. So
Already, definitely should be on the line. So you mentioned who did we mention for these? Why aren't you letting me scroll? You mentioned the positions probably we're gonna draft, right?
yeah,
Um, throwing wide receiver in there in that group. Anything else? Like we already grabbed offensive line,
no, I think that's good.
like one of these three positions.
Yeah,
You mentioned linebacker, and I also mentioned edge. But there is wide receiver sitting here. But you did just bring in Jacoby Myers via the trade.
I would. I don't know. I don't know if I would draft an like. It's never bad to have too many wide receivers on your roster.
True.
Um,
I like Io Manor.
but your next pick after this isn't until 70 rounds or 70 picks later.
Yeah, like you're
So,
dropping a while.
um,
Do we want to trade Levis in here? Nah, let's
I
just save that.
no, yeah, because Levis he'll go for like a fourth or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, I would draft
you can find
edge.
linebackers in the middle round.
I would draft an edge, Princely.
Yeah,
I'd probably
Princely.
draft him.
Princely. Okay, first off, I haven't watched much, but what I've watched has been great. As you can tell from his grades, he is wow. They haven't even done their trends and stuff. Yeah, he gets drafted by the Patriots in the second round a lot. Um, 6'4", 255. He's 20. He'll be 23. His best game was against Georgia, which is such a green flag. Um, yeah, he'll be your guy if you draft him. So I like that pick too. And then you're jumping all the way to 100. Patriots pick Io Manor. I would love that. Let's see. Okay.
So whenever it gets later in these rounds, I don't know these guys as much.
I
So
don't know them as well. I know a lot of these guys, but I don't know all of them. Okay. Hold on. Safety. We didn't mention safety. I don't think they need safety at all, do they?
no,
Because I do like Matabuke, and he's sitting right there. um, you don't need that. Maybe grab it off there. I want to put wide receiver down, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's as big of a need as some other stuff. I also don't feel like they should go safety. As much as I like Matabuke. Um, Barrett Carter, I did like him early on in the process, so like wouldn't be terrible. But he's got a bad coverage grade, which is the issue the Titans have right now. And you're not going to really want to go heavy offense. We've already picked a defensive player. Our first two picks were offense.
I wouldn't hate going another offensive lineman here.
Okay. Trying to see who I've watched. Stuntman's this low. It's a little low. He'll definitely make it to their next pick though. Emory Jones has dropped off a cliff. What happened? I didn't get to watch him much this year, but goodness,
Doesn't he
he was
play right
right.
tackle?
He's right
Yeah,
tackle. Yeah, they don't really need another right tackle. They just drafted Banks.
yeah.
You need a guard, so I'll take OT off. Um, Let me see Kaiser. I'd almost go him over
I would
over.
probably go with the Notre Dame guy, Jack Kaiser, because
Yeah,
he played well
yeah. He
against.
played well in the game the other week or so. Actually, this past week, which I can't believe that the championship game's on a Monday. That's so wild.
Yeah, dude, they always play on a Monday. I guess because like the playoffs and
NFL.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they yield to the NFL, unfortunately. So I like linebacker right here. If it'll load it, that would
Well,
suck.
maybe it's PFF told us this is a terrible pick.
I'm just curious other drafts. Patriots draft two wide receivers and a safety. Oops, where'd we go? I'll be casually just breaking the board right now.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what's happening here.
I
PFF
don't
is
know either.
folding on us.
This is just PFF at its finest, folks. Come on, PFF. While that's going, let's discuss more Titan stuff besides that. Um, so we have them. Okay, I'm gonna write it down just so we can post. Unfortunately, no longer on TikTok. So if you did find us through TikTok, thank you so much. But we'll be on Instagram still, and we'll be on YouTube as you're probably watching this. We'll also be on Spotify and Apple Music. So check us out on those platforms too. Did want to shout that out because we are losing TikTok tomorrow. Um, let's
Oh
see.
yeah, that does
That's
go bye bye.
unfortunate. Yeah. So 106, they go Banks.
Okay,
They go.
I say we could just because we already did the trade
I'm gonna just note it.
and then refresh it and then just
Do the other draft.
yeah, do the other draft
Yeah, because these
because
were the real picks that matter. Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, I'm marking it down for their draft so I can put it on Insta later. Uh, let's see. And then they trade with the Raiders, right?
yeah.
And then what was the other two? Sorry for the technical difficulties, y'all. Don't think this has happened. L Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also, starting next week, we will be able to record in person because he moves in. So hopefully we won't have these Wi-Fi issues once he moves in. Okay. All right. There. I wrote the trade and everything down, so we can just go to the next one. Yes, I'm aware. There we go. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll just do that. Those are the two rounds that really matter. So I think we probably should just do this little number, just 2 rounds,
Yeah.
because I don't have a pick till round 4. Oh, that could have been funny. Let's see. There we go. I guess positional value is not as important. So Titans, first round. They're going to just do the first 2 rounds. They're picking first. We're doing the other way,
A dual
which I
Carter.
think
No, I'm playing.
I know you are.
Whoa,
Cam Ward is
whoa,
one.
whoa.
What? There's no discussion here.
Milrow is still on the board.
In round two?
I mean,
No, no, hold on. The biggest fall is crazy would be Jalen Walker round two to get their linebacker. That'd be wild. That's not going to happen. He'll go round one. Um,
do you just draft like 4 quarterbacks?
somebody's going to work out, right?
One of them's got to work out. Just go
Um,
QB heavy,
hey,
and then
man.
just
QB comps would be crazy during the.
hope for the best. Let them
This is a,
fight it out.
that'd be such an NBA thing almost, I feel like. Just
Yeah,
missing one spot, and so you just draft that. Um,
dude, dude. I hope this is a little off topic here. Well, I mean, it's kind of is on topic. The Senior Bowl, how we're going to the Senior Bowl. I hope Jalen Milrow plays the greatest football he's ever
I
played.
hope he does too. He needs it. I'm gonna say something again like I did with Milton last year, and then the Steelers are gonna draft Milrow for you.
Dude, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
That's why you like him. You know you're probably gonna draft him.
I don't know if we will. Um,
Okay. Do we be boring with this draft, or do we take somebody else? It's like you're either going this, or you're taking the same guy we did last time.
you got to take offensive lineman.
I agree. I'm
You
thinking
could take the Texans guy because Texas offensive line this year has been really
no, no,
good.
no, 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 no. I watched Cam so much. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, he was awful. Hold on. There's a game that I watched where I was like, I will never want him for my team. Oh, there was two games I watched.
Was it the
Um,
Georgia game?
it was both Georgia games, and then the Ohio State game. He was also awful. Michigan game. He's not worth a second. You'd be putting in the same problems. I'm surprised he's dropped off boards. I'm curious of why.
Yeah, wasn't he a first round guy?
Yeah, everybody talked about him. Must have missed a lot myself. He's only allowed one sack, and if he's a right, he was a left in college.
330. Golly, he's a big fella.
Yeah, 6'6", 330. Rose a big boy. Um,
Hey, I mean, the Titans might draft him because they like those big guys,
true, true. See, and another guy right here was projected super high, dropped. Another guy. I don't think they've updated their board. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, PFF isn't good with updating the board, I feel like. No,
Unfortunately,
no, no shot at PFF. Just I understand
they
it's a lot
they
of.
take their time doing it because they're just trying to make sure everything's right. You go, oh, I haven't watched this guy this year. I got to trust the word of PFF on this one. He didn't play
North
anybody
Dakota
though.
State. Yeah, but he's a left tackle.
You could put him at right.
Yeah, he did play right 2023. So, um,
Well, did he? Yeah, he did. He was a right tackle every other year. Do you go offensive line?
North Dakota State. I say you draft him.
All right. Hopefully he's not a Trey Lance type player, and he's a.
Um, who else came from North Dakota State? Gosh, I'm
Oh,
forgetting.
look at that! They wanted us to draft Abdul Carter.
What? Um,
I feel like that always happens.
yeah. See how
They
the
gave
big
us.
board worked out.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
let's see how the first round went. Give
Travis
me some.
Hunter too. Okay, Edge Giants. Okay. McMillan
McMillan, no
at
thanks.
4. Oh no, no, no. I've watched McMillan. I'm not a big fan of McMillan.
I like
Shador.
McMillan, just not at 4. Starks,
Um,
I do love Starks. He is a player that isn't getting talked about for no reason.
Will Johnson to the Jets would be filthy with
Oh
sauce.
my, yeah, he'd be the CB1 to Sauce's CB2.
Uh,
I'm a Sauce hater though.
dude, I mean,
I don't like this
Dolphins
board.
drafting. Yeah, dude, what?
I don't. This is gross.
Dolphins drafting Ashton Genty? In what world do they
Josh
need
Simmons, I
another
like that.
running back,
Oh
dude?
no, 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 no. Amari and Hampton to the Chargers. Wow. That'd
Dude,
be
they need a wide
impeccable.
receiver.
No, but I know, but Hampton's insane.
Mm,
No, I don't love this board. I don't love it at all.
yeah.
LPFF
Oh,
board. Um, yeah, so our first draft ended up being Banks at 106 after a trade back with the Raiders that gave them the 106 and 237 with a 26 first, a 26 second, and Jacoby Myers. Titans ended up drafting Banks, of course, and then they drafted Jackson Dart in the second round and Princely Umana. I can't even pronounce it, guys. He goes to Ole Miss. That's all that matters. It's the edge rusher out of Ole Miss. So out of a draft, they ended up with Banks at their right tackle, Dart at QB for next year, or even just sitting. Princely as a starting edge rusher, which was a need. Then you have Myers as a starting wide receiver, and if you look at their lineup, let's pull up the Raiders maybe. And pull up the Raiders NFL. Let's pull up the Raiders. I think Myers grades high, so
Myers is phenomenal. I don't even care what PFF has to say.
bam, 27. That's an upgrade. I
Yeah.
didn't even know their offensive line was as good. It's cool. Yeah, no, you got Myers. Myers and Ridley as your two top wide receivers for Dart or whoever's starting. Perfect, you're set. So that fixes your offense like completely. Obviously, you have defense problems, of course, too, like we said. But no. Sorry, we didn't have really that many defense problems, did we?
No, not no. We were more um talking about the offense because obviously you got to go into this offseason
Yeah.
focusing strictly on offense.
Yeah, so your starting offense next year literally could be Westbrook, Keenan, Myers, Ridley, Okonkwo, whoever we end up. Like it's either Jameis or Flacco with um, Dart sitting behind. He'll probably come in at some point during the year, and then you're putting Banks at right tackle. You're probably grabbing a left tackle or right tackle in free agency, which we mentioned a couple guys. Um, this, of course, you do this if you're not going to get like Becton or something. We mentioned Herbig. Is he your right tackle
No, he's our right guard.
or right guard? Sorry. Yeah, you grab Herbig for your right guard, um, and you're pretty much fixing your offensive line for the next year. Which I don't think this can be like a worst to first. I do think this team can turn it around and be a solid like 8 and 9 team. Like I thought they were going to be this year. I thought they were going to be like 9 and 8 or something stupid.
Yeah, I would shoot for something like
seven
that.
to 7 to 9 wins range. I think could be a turnaround this next year. But if that doesn't happen, I truly can see Callahan being fired after the year.
Yeah, Brian Callahan, I feel like should have been fired this year, but
Yeah, you
I
don't see that
guess give
many.
him another year.
Yeah, I mean, if Mike McCarthy can be fired, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on Mike McCarthy rant.
Yeah. We didn't even draft Carter. Do we want to do a third just for a
I
Carter
mean,
scenario?
no, because there's
No.
no way in crap they'll
Well,
draft.
they traded with the Giants.
No, but if you draft Carter, I mean Carter's a phenomenal prospect. But really, do you need edge that bad? You draft him first overall?
I
No.
mean, Carter's the best prospect in the draft, so
I
yes.
mean, I mean, yeah, but you also look at positional value. Positional
True.
value is so important
It
because
is. Unfortunately, it is.
okay, let's say they go Carter here,
Mm-hmm.
their defense will get better.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead with
Oh,
it.
oh shoot, our defense is or our offense is still dog.
Yeah.
It's like
Um.
okay, it doesn't matter. Steelers don't.
Well, you do this, right? And
I mean,
then you just offer up a
I
third.
would need I would need
Like you do something like this,
no,
or even like this,
no.
and then boom, you're not moving back that far. They draft, and then you end up with Carter. Cam Ward's gone. You end up with Carter, and then you're going and drafting Dart here, and then you're getting, I don't know, your offensive tackle here.
No.
Right?
I don't like that though. I really don't. Because
I
if
do
you're
like it.
drafting a quarterback, and you're not trading, or if you're trading like 2 spots, then
Oh, whatever.
don't pick a quarterback because you've already went second round quarterback
Well,
before.
we did that with Dart just a minute ago.
I
What
mean,
was wrong with that?
yeah, but like a dual Carter, you're not helping your offensive at all here.
True, but yet you kind of are because you're getting your quarterback and you're still getting a tackle with great value that round.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. It was just a hypothetical, of course. All of these are. None of these are going to be even close. Stuff always happens before draft. I'd be shocked if they trade the pick, though. I do think they just go ahead and they take their guy,
yeah,
which I will probably end up being Cam Ward. Do you agree with that or no?
yeah, it'll probably be Cam Ward, or it should be Cam Ward.
I do like your scenario with the Raiders, though. I think that would be ideal. You're not going to see that in the NFL, though, unfortunately. It'd be dependent on the Raiders and how much they want their guy. Honestly, I think hot take. I think the Raiders might end up just picking Genty or something weird if they get Ben Johnson, of course.
I don't know. I think because Brady really wants a quarterback,
He does.
so
He does.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I will definitely go post these for y'all if you want to see them later on Insta. If TikTok is live when this drops, I will post them there. Hopefully, probably not, but I'll post it there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. This team, it could definitely see growth. I just think the owner needs to be patient. That's kind of where
yeah,
I'm like sitting. You got to see some patience in the roster.
yeah.
You got any last thoughts?
No, I've said a lot about this team, so
Said your piece.
I've said my piece.
All right. Well, I guess we're wrapping it up for today. So I just want to say thank y'all for listening to another episode of the Dropback Podcast. Be sure wherever you are listening to leave a like, follow, subscribe, or comment down in the comments below. As always, thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all tune in to the next one, and peace out.